Yes, approach runway 26 left. Now vector to the paddock port and induce landing runways. Runway 26 left for large aircraft. And runway 26 right for light aircraft.
Episode 68.
Here we are. Would have been 69.
Yeah, we had to cancel.
Yeah, bummer.
We'll chat about that later. How's your week been?
That's been cool, man. Busy. Yours?
Yeah, same.
Yeah,
Ready for this.
always.
Good. Look, I've been chatting to a few of my mates at Comair this week, and they said, please can we do a bit of a shout out to what's happening there, because they are finally getting back in the air. Great news. 1st of September, they're going to be starting up,
Awesome.
which is great. Get the green machines back in the sky. And there's a lot of upbeat posts from their employees and staff all sort of getting involved and obviously getting excited to start up shop again, which is great news. And as long as we don't get blindsided by another lockdown or some ridiculous restriction, hopefully it's clean sailing from here. They've been working on some new flexible fare options, and obviously to meet the needs of the customers. So remember, I mean, that was the 5th of, when was it? 5th of July. They stopped ops.
Yeah.
And that was because of the adjusted level 4 lockdown and all non-essential travel in and out of Gauteng. But so great to have them back.
Yeah, man, it's fantastic. Very happy for the guys. I mean, it hasn't been an easy time for them sitting around waiting and, obviously expecting the worst. And, just in time for Comair as well, because there's another carrier that's going to be starting up operations again at the end of, the 23rd of September.
Yeah, who they?
Yeah, well, I suppose we'll get back to that subject later. But, I'm glad for Comair because at least it's a bit more competition for that other carrier.
It is. Their travel your way packages. So they've got a fly light package. That's a hop on, hop off option for those with only cabin bags, offering the best possible fares. A change of booking fee of 299 Rand applies. Then there's a pack and go, basically an all-round option to suit most travelers' needs, including one piece of checked-in luggage weighing up to 20 kilos and 2 free booking changes. That's the one I'd go for. And then a fully loaded, a fully flexible option allowing unlimited booking changes, 2 checked-in bags, and a queue jump to speed up the check-in procedures. They're also going to be launching Mauritius again, 30th of November.
That's cool.
Which is my birthday, by the way.
Is it?
Yeah.
So you try and tell me something?
Yeah, a ticket on Comair to Mauritius for me and my missus would be nice. But great news. Jokes aside, awesome to have Comair back. We need them. And as you said, Ryan, we need them to compete with Spuri's version 2.0.
Yeah.
They are busy doing a Microsoft-like Windows update at the moment. And 23rd of September, as you said.
Yeah.
Where they're flying.
So domestically, they obviously realize that there's too much competition for them right now. So they're just being, they're lining up Joburg to Cape Town by the looks of it. And then, they're going
no
up to,
surprise there.
Yeah. Accra, Kinshasa, Lusaka, Harare are the routes that are being advertised at the moment. And, all more of the same. I think there's already a fair amount of competition on all those regional routes, probably bar the Accra one for the moment anyway.
Yeah.
And they're probably expecting, a whole bunch of, a warm welcome and fireworks and yay, SA is back. But it doesn't seem like the public sort of reception out there is too welcoming. No wonder why.
If you listen very carefully, you can actually hear Roger Foster starting to panic. Actually, no, you can't.
No.
I saw a post on Airlink the other day. Currently, we operate an average of 160 flights per day with more than 5,000 flights per month. Only #Fly Airlink can connect you to 22 regional destinations and 15 domestic destinations across South Africa during the current travel restrictions. So yeah, the regionally there. Let's face it, that the big competition on that route is going to be on those routes is going to be Spuri's Airlink. Eh?
Yeah. Look, Harare, Fastjet, and Air Zimbabwe are already hitting that route quite hard. Lusaka, there's another Zambian airline.
Maputo's in there as well, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, could be.
I mean,
but what are they gonna? You can't do all those routes with the existing aircraft.
Yeah, because what have they got, like 3 airplanes or something?
And as far as we're aware, the due diligence with the consortium has not been completed yet. So I don't see Global's planes being used just yet.
Doesn't look like it's going that way.
Yeah.
I mean, as it is, Global are advertising that they're going to be doing, weekly charters to Zanzibar.
Obviously that's a contentious one. Eh? So charters to Zanzibar, obviously Mango are not doing that flying at the moment. And is that paving the way for Lyft to take over?
I don't know. You know, this whole SAA saga, every sort of news article or press release that comes out always leaves more questions than answers every time. So let's see, man. I don't know. But I'm not holding my breath for that crowd.
No. On a really positive note, Emirates signed an interline with Cemair.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. And well done to Cemair for that one, expanding their reach. Mark Thompson, mate of ours, put a post up the other day. He said it'd be interesting to see who is going to have the biggest piece of cake in Africa, Emirates, Qatar, or Ethiopian. These 3 airlines are signing new agreements every week with other operators. Surely someone is going to lose out. Example, just in South Africa alone, Safair, Cemair, and Airlink service Bloemfontein. So who gets the Emirates connecting packs? You know what I mean?
Valid question.
Yeah. I don't know how it works. It was probably a good answer. John Howell might know the answer to that. But it's a valid question. With all the agreements, someone is going to lose out. What sort of system? I suppose this is where Airlink, with their code share, is going to differ. They're obviously going to get preference over Cemair with an interline.
Man, yeah.
Hey?
We're going to have to leave that one for the jury. It's going to be interesting to see.
Are you saying that's above our
knowledge
bank?
Didn't want to say it in as many words, but you had me spinning there for a sec.
Yeah, but it's a valid question. Who decides what airline the passengers fly on? So interesting to see there. Yeah. Jordan Butler, chair of Mango Pilots Association, said the aim to have a proposed rescue plan by the 29th of October. At the meeting with the unions, it was indicated that there was provision for outstanding salaries to be paid for July. Actually bumped into some of the Mango guys at Grand Slam the other day. They were all having sparkling water. And so it's looking good. Hopefully they get paid.
Have they not been paid yet?
When I spoke to the guys, they hadn't yet, but they were very, very hopeful that they were going to get paid. So I haven't seen anything to say they have been paid, but they seemed optimistic that they would. And obviously, that's this proposed rescue plan. So it is moving along there at Mango. And let's keep fingers crossed there that they don't go down the Sachs path.
Yeah.
I picked this up late last night on one of Duncan's posts. You mentioned it, that Zanzibar global situation with the charters. And obviously, one of the contentious things about this is, we said already, are they paving the way for Lyft to take over? And obviously, I don't think people are aware that with the Air Service License Council being disbanded, or whatever you want to call it, they were not in operation. So airlines were not able to get new flights.
Yeah.
It's a very, very complex one, this. It shouldn't really be taken lightly, because if it was done on purpose, and the likes of Safair as an example, I'm sure they would have jumped on Zanzibar.
Yeah,
I'm sure they would have.
There was rumors a while back that they were trying to jump onto the Mauritius route as well.
Mm-hmm.
So no doubt. I don't know.
It's just throwing it out there. It's not I don't have the answer to it, but just throwing it out there. Yeah, it'll be a real contentious issue later if this plays out in the way we think it's going to.
Yeah, well, maybe they will get a taste of their own medicine at some later point with the Competitions Commission diving into that.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the SAA side of it now, not global.
Yeah.
I
No,
mean,
Global are doing a charter.
yeah, but I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I think SAA still owe Comair in the region of about $1 billion.
Yeah.
Um,
And Link.
Yeah, all that money, 700 million, not only from tickets that were issued on behalf of the Airlink code share side, but I mean, the competition, Comair won a court case.
They won the case.
And I mean, that was going back 3, 4, maybe 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And they're still waiting for that money. So,
Yeah. Continuing from our main story last week, there's now confirmation from people involved that the South African aviation personnel are now safely out of Afghanistan.
Yeah, it's good news.
Good news for everyone. And the world sort of really joined together on the rescue efforts out of Kabul there in particular. It was quite an amazing thing to see. I mean, 28,000 people were evacuated over the last week.
Yeah, I see they're comparing it to the Berlin airlift, calling it the Kabul airlift.
Yeah.
I mean, it's insane to see what's going on.
Yeah, everyone got involved. I mean, Canada, they were using 2 C-17 Globemasters. Germany sent in a 340-300. And the USA done by far the most. They've taken 18,000 people so far. So nice to see the world working together on something for a change.
Yeah.
And then in the States, Southwest is actually taking the refugees and they're actually moving them around the country in America. So they're doing that as part of the rescue effort as well. So Southwest getting involved even domestically in America.
So what are you trying to say? If you want to get to America now, the best way is to go to Afghanistan first, and then.
Well, yeah. I mean, it would seem that way. It's quite hectic, actually, but that's what it appears.
Sharks.
Yeah, news from the rest of the world. Delta, they've gone and ordered another 30 Airbus A321neos, bringing its total order to 155. And deliveries set to start in the first half of 2022. That's a deal with $4 billion. And Delta, they disclosed that purchase on the 24th of August, still has options to purchase a further 70 of those jets. And they've thrown a lot of support behind Airbus, and both for their wide bodies and the narrow bodies. It's good to see. So good on Delta, good on Airbus. It's quite amazing, these numbers. The narrow body fleet at Delta now stands at 50 A220s, 240 A320neos, and more than 400 Boeing narrow bodies, including 91 717s, by far the best aircraft of the lot here, 212 737NGs, and 127 757s. Additionally, Delta in July said it will acquire another 29 used 737-900s.
That is ridiculous.
Hey,
Those are numbers.
that's proper.
It's actually quite something to comprehend.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Jeez.
That's massive.
Yeah.
That's not 2 320s and a 340 dinosaur. That's a proper setup. Travel chaos. Icelandic air traffic control is there's a big strike planned. So not planning on going there, are you?
Negative.
Not going to happen. Ryanair blames the UK government and Belfast airports as it pulls out of the area.
Yeah.
My aunt sent me that information from the UK. So shout out to my Auntie Lou in Ripon.
UK correspondence as well. We're getting correspondence all over the world.
Yep.
We got some more news from Alan this week as well, telling us about what's going on in Canada. Yeah, seems for the most part that things are on the up and up that side.
Big time.
And hopefully he'll be in the sky very soon as he can get his license finalized. Sounds like there's a lot of employment happening in Canada. So, very positive from that side of the globe.
Yeah, quite crazy. The numbers there, granted the numbers have only reached 47% of 2019. Compare that with the US, which is now just south of 80%.
Mm.
However, when you consider that those Canadian numbers haven't exceeded 20% of 2019 numbers for over 16 months, there's a real clear positive sign for the industry.
Yeah.
So I don't see that letting up. That's really great to see because that bounce back is just immediate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome. What else here? We got Alitalia, game over.
Yeah. Kind of sad.
It is a sad.
Yeah.
But they've got a new version 2. Actually, it's a version 2.5 type of deal. RTA, I believe it's called. They'll be taking over. Hopefully, an airline that the country can be proud of. Ever heard that before?
It's all just more of the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we get on to our main stories of the week here?
Let's do it.
All right. I don't know if you saw this. Actually, you did because I told you to go and read it. There was a Facebook rant. Well, I saw it on Facebook. I suppose it was on other media as well. Obviously, from what I can assume as an ex-Qatar pilot. To summarize the post, which was lengthy and well written, it talks about everything from dealing with dodgy IT systems, impossible bidding and roster stuff-ups, no flying to your home base, no flying with a fellow countryman, deadheading on 15-hour flights in economy, constantly walking on eggshells, having a minimal amount of time at your destination. Sometimes all that remains is about 2 hours to catch a bus or taxi into the city because they stay so far away from the main part of the city that, and even miles away from the airport. Don't even get me started on FDP. Obviously, they're in bed with the local CIA there. So it was a real damning post, and it kind of made me feel better about my career decisions so far, because I don't know how well, if all this is true, you know, it's going to come out. But there seems to be, it's not just this guy that has posted this. It's quite damning. They've got a dedicated team of IT social media worms, is what he says, his words, and spies who literally create social media profiles pretending to be attractive women to try and friend you so they can catch you posting anything to do with Qatar on social media. So, cuz, you and me are pretty stuffed.
Yeah. I was going to say to you earlier, the chances of, even if we wanted to go and fly there, I'm pretty sure have been absolutely destroyed. But let's face it, I mean, we don't always have bad things to say about Qatar. In fact,
we've never had a bad thing to say. We've been very, very positive about Qatar.
What kind of made me feel a bit hypocritical was just last week we were saying, you know, as far as I understand it, Qatar has been revered as one of the world's best airlines.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, somehow they control that narrative and manage to, you know, get that message out. Look, they have been flying right throughout the lockdown.
Yeah.
But after having read, you know, from that pilot's post, what actually goes on, it's like, no wonder why. And it's pretty hectic.
It is hectic.
Yeah. So, no, we've never said anything bad. And, I don't know. But, yeah, our chances with the social media robots out there are slim.
Yeah, look, this guy obviously left there now and didn't have a good time of it and wrote this very detailed explanation as to how things actually work. And it's not good. But we've seen a trend. Obviously, let's talk about. We cancelled our live show this last week.
Yeah,
supposed to do a live show on Tuesday, and what we found during the live is that the pilots with existing jobs are very, very scared to talk on any platform. So doing a live show in particular on YouTube and Facebook and that is a bit of a no-no. And a lot of guys have agreed. They said, no problem. They're happy to chat, but we can't talk about this, or this, which is fine. But it got to a bit of a point with me where it's a bit difficult to. I really do not want to be responsible if something is said and this guy or girl goes and loses their job. I would not feel good about that at all. And it's quite difficult sometimes when you know, if a question gets thrown at you and the conversation goes down that road, it's quite difficult to bring it back sometimes when you've got all these limits as to what you can or can't talk about.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we've gone backwards and forwards what to do with our live show. We love doing the live show. It's awesome. And in this series where we wanted to connect with pilots and aviators from around the world, we've done that. It's been fantastic. We do have another show next week with Bryan, one of your contacts, and looking forward to that. But then we're going to take a break in this series for the live. Correct?
Correct, yeah. I mean, over the last, 6 or 7 weeks, we've had some phenomenal interviews with some great guys and heard some very, very good, heartfelt stories. And, it's been great. It's been a lot of fun. But, yeah, I think there are limitations to how long this can carry on, especially with the guys are getting the opportunity to get back into the flight deck now. And not only is it guys that have existing jobs, but I think the guys that have lined up potential jobs and they don't want to jeopardize that. So it's fine. It's understandable. And we accept that. And so we're going to take another break on the live for a short while and then re-strategize and hopefully come back with another live show with guests from another interesting sort of sector.
Yeah, it's a bit of a pity because we've enjoyed it. It's been great, and particularly just building those connections with everyone has been really nice. But this series will end next week Tuesday. But do join us next week Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central African time.
Yeah.
On YouTube and Facebook with Bryan Edgington. He's quite a character actually. Written a few books, author.
Yeah, he's
choppers in Vietnam.
Yeah, ex-Vietnam vet, helicopter pilot, and I've read his books, and man, he's got some awesome stories and a hell of a funny bits in there as well. So I'm looking forward to that conversation with Bryan.
No, it's going to be cool.
Yeah,
I did a bit of work this week on trying to look at regional airlines and regional aircraft around the world. I mentioned on last week's show I'd dive into it, and that was what role regional aircraft play in the bigger picture. And I thought this is quite interesting because guys that are going out now and looking for jobs, I know there's a bit of a mindset that it doesn't matter where you're flying right now, just get a job, and you can, as soon as you got one, you can start looking for another one or a better one, whatever it might be. But I think the mindset has changed where people don't want to go and start a job somewhere where they don't look at it long term anymore. This has been such a big, how do you say it? Things have been shuffled up so much, and I don't think people want to move their families to another part of the world only to find out that this wasn't the right job for them and then move somewhere else or whatever it might be. We want to have a better understanding of what we're getting ourselves into. So you might find people are actually looking at the airline themselves and asking the question, will this airline survive for the next 5 or 6 years? If the answer is no, you might find that the guys turn down certain job offers. And obviously, entry-level jobs in the airline sector, a lot of them are regional. So I think it's nice to have a bit of an understanding of how regional airlines actually work. And it's a lot more complex than you might think.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
It's a bit more. We flew for one for a long time, and let's just have a look at it quickly.
I think. Sorry to interrupt you, but just to interject with something there quick is what you're trying to say is guys are going to be looking for stability.
That's it.
Stability.
They don't want to. You don't want to have to. Who wants to go through this whole rigmarole again? So you're going to choose a job, choose a career, choose an airline that hopefully has some form of long-term prospects.
Yeah.
And with that in mind, there's probably a bit of research going on the country, on the airline. And chances are it's going to be a regional. You're not going to walk into a mainline carrier in the States, for example. But who knows? Maybe the demand for regional pilots shoots up and there is an opportunity there.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see. But, so obviously there are multiple business models that these airlines work off. First off, a regional aircraft is called a regional aircraft because of its size. So you're looking at 30 to 100 seats, right? You got the Dash 8 and ATR 4272 for the turboprops. You've got the E-jets and Mitsubishi jets, obviously the Bombardiers, from the jet side of things, right? The role of the Embraer 175 is quite interesting. Obviously, that aircraft born out of the need to operate a modern aircraft with traditional airliner comforts and looks, but still manages to comply with the CPA agreements of the main holding airline. So, CPA agreements, this is a big thing. Capacity purchase agreements. So in this setup, the regional airline flies for a fixed fee, irrespective of PAX numbers. So you can think of these airlines selling seats and marketed under a much bigger brand, like Air Canada or American, right? Obviously, the margins for CPA regionals is narrower, but because the income is fixed, they've done all right during the pandemic, to the point where a lot of flights were actually flown empty during the pandemic, just to maintain the CPA agreements. The flights obviously have to happen for that agreement to stay in place.
They call them ghost flights, eh?
Yeah, ghost flights. Actually reminded me of that setup that we had at SAX when we were flying to Sun City, and where else were we going?
Mafeking.
Mafeking.
Yeah.
I mean,
even Mtata, I couldn't
degree.
understand it. It used to baffle us as pilots, like, how are we doing this with 3 or 5 or 7 passengers at a time?
Yeah, look, that obviously wasn't a full-on proper CPA agreement. That was a real Zuma era business transaction. Need I say any more? But that, nevertheless, that's obviously the direction they were going.
Yeah.
So SkyWest is the world's largest regional. They actually showed a profit in the first quarter of 2020, which as an airline is rather amazing.
Yeah.
So that highlights the benefits of a CPA agreement in a depressed market. Obviously, when things are going really well, they don't grow as much because they've got a fixed fee. So it does balance out a little bit. So due to the outsourced nature of CPAs, pilot contracts at the larger airlines define the limits to the available aircraft that can be used in the CPA agreement. So these are known as scope clauses. Negotiated as part of a mainline pilot's contract. So these contracts limit the options to E170s, 175s, CRJ 700s, and 900s. There are, of course, the smaller ERJs and CRJs in the mix there as well. So we kind of understand where it's going there. Your regional kind of plays a role in the bigger picture, but don't think you're going to join one and then get promoted to the 777 at some point. You belong to that regional.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are quite a few carriers that operate under CPAs that are wholly owned by the parent company. So you can think of these working under a virtual CPA. This would have been the case if SA merged with SAX. All right? Which, by the way, Pravin Gordon did mention during a budget speech a few years back. Blame it on COVID, guys. Keep it up. So this hopefully gives a decent explanation of why we don't see E190s, 195s, and CRJ 1000s flying around for a lot of these regionals. So the 175, obviously the ideal sort of size. It meets all the right criteria. Scope clause, big limiting factor there. The second type of model is the narrow body supplement. So this involves supplementing larger aircraft as a subset of a much more diverse fleet. So the obvious difference here is that it relies on ticket revenue sales. You've got to actually sell the tickets to make the money. And they compete with the narrow bodies they support, basically. Airlines in this segment include WestJet in Canada and SpiceJet in India. So in the last few years, it's lost a bit of popularity. If you look at Air Baltic and Austrian, they've moved away from their Q4s, Copa America, their E190s, and Garuda Indonesia with their CRJ 1000. So it's lost a bit of popularity there. The third type is the low-cost competitive. So this relies on a low overall trip cost of the regional aircraft themselves. So you can think of Cemair in this bracket here, and you can think of Breeze in the States. So these airlines typically fly the largest regional carrier they can, leveraging its size and their reduced overall consumption and costs. The Q400s and the new E2s are the best example of these. The challenge here, though, is that a full Q400 means you're actually losing money, because then you should have gone to the bigger aircraft. So if you're flying a PAC Q400, it actually says, no, you should actually have a 7.3 on that route. Then you're actually losing out. So there's a very fine line here. A full regional is not necessarily the
indication of a good business model.
It's not. And then lastly, you got the small market service. So this is dedicated to providing smaller communities, and it doesn't need massive aircraft. Again, Cemair into places like Margate and Plet. This depends on passengers purchasing tickets. The advantage usually is that there's a lack of competition. So, that goes without saying. Sometimes these are government supported. If a town, you see this a lot in places like Alaska, and you have to support these towns. There's no other way.
Well, that's just due to pure lack of infrastructure. There are no roads, etc., etc. Yeah, so it makes sense.
Aircraft usually used on those is the older type, the Brasilias, Embraer 120s, Saab 340s, and Beech 1900s.
Yeah.
All right. So does that give you a better indication as to the layouts of a regional carrier? I thought it was well written. A lot of the information there from the air current, and basically just I think it's nice to have an understanding of where you're going in your career. If you join a particular airline, you need to know that, despite what you're told, you're not going to be, given the opportunity to go and fly a bigger aircraft at some point. Remember us, or I wonder if, we'll get a chance to fly the 320s or 319s. You're never going to. It's just the way it works.
Yeah, it's quite an enlightening article, that because, being pilots and naturally not very good at business, or understanding the models behind it, we used to fly along and look at the passenger numbers and saying, geez, well, we must be doing well this month. Look at these PAX loads.
It doesn't necessarily
very often
mean that.
Thinking, that, this was basing that on those numbers towards a recovery, which obviously made zero difference, which is, that's cool.
Bit sad that you understand it afterwards, but anyway, it's quite interesting, and obviously these CPI agreements in the States is massive. Some of these regional carriers are huge. I mean, they really are, and there's a massive demand at the moment for regional pilots in America.
I was chatting to some crew that were here at Cemair just the other day, and they were telling me, if you've got an FAA license and a CRJ rating, you can
write your ticket.
Go straight over there right now. That's the narrative right now. How true it is, I don't know. Haven't tried. Don't have an FAA license, so I wouldn't even bother right now. But maybe it does work for some guys out there who match the qualifications. Let us know.
That story's been around for a long time, though.
It's
you hear these things, and if they come to fruition, I'm not always so sure.
Well, there must be some truth to it to a degree, I guess, because ex-colleagues of ours at SACS have managed to move over to Canada now, and they're busy with their 737 type ratings with Flair, both of them, and it obviously hasn't taken that long. Obviously, you need to fill the requirements, Canadian passport and all that kind of stuff, but I don't know. There must be some truth to it.
Yeah, I'm sure. Do you want my advisory for the week?
No, because that means we're getting closer to the end of the show.
Not really. Go.
Let me have it.
No, well, do your news first.
No, it's fine. Give me your advisory.
Okay. It's one we use. It's an easy one.
Yeah?
A lot of pilots are into their photography, right? So most pilots at some point went and purchased a DSLR camera that's sitting at home probably in a cupboard collecting dust because no one is going anywhere to use a camera these days. And we've been doing it for a while on the live show to try and improve the footage, the camera quality. All we basically have done is we have connected our Canon cameras straight into our computers, and there's some very fancy software, simple software. What's it called? EOS webcam. And it turns your camera into a webcam. and now you've got DSLR quality footage instead of that terrible
780p.
780p webcam footage from below showing your 3 chins on the way up. So
for yourself.
you can set this up much nicer. You can move it wherever you want. You can use a nice lens, whatever you want to do. So if you've got a Canon camera in particular sitting at home, you can get a little micro HDMI, it's a mini HDMI into a USB and connect it to your computer, and it runs. Don't have to do anything else. If you've got a Nikon or another brand, all you actually bought one, was a capture card, eh?
Yeah, video capture card.
Video capture card, which they're not expensive, and then you can do the same thing. So if you've got a old DSLR sitting around, not being used, and you do have to do a Zoom interview with an airline soon, you can make a good impression by sorting out your footage. I think that's a good tip.
That's a hell of a good tip. I mean, come to think of it, I was reading somewhere on the interwebs the last couple of days, but Emirates that are recalling some of their crew that they let go are re-interviewing guys via video interviews again. So it makes sense if you, like you said, want to make a good impression, hook yourself up, and it just makes the whole quality of the call feel better when you know your camera angle is good and looks smart and you've got a nice background.
It's equivalent of walking into a meeting wearing a nice suit.
Yes.
Because you don't get that anymore. You don't get the face-to-face, the firm handshake, all that stuff. You don't. So you can't make that first impression.
Yes.
So you can make that first impression by using your existing camera that you have. And then better yet, if you've got a microphone that you can plug in. The microphone is a big thing. If they can't hear what you're saying, not going to help.
No.
And you don't have to spend a fortune on a microphone.
And there's nothing worse than that tinny echo in the background, when
it's not good.
That's why we've tried so hard to jack up the quality of our show.
Yeah. Which I hope we've managed.
Yeah.
Sound quality and video quality are hell of important. So, give that a try. Just some shout-outs again. Dragonfly Skyway. Go and check out Roxanne's business there. It's really great. I wish that was around. And our uniforms I hate those baggy shirts.
Pants that don't fit. Yeah.
They're terrible, man. So nice that she's making nice, stylish pilot's clothes. Go Aviate. Please check out Jason Northwood's site. And if you are an aviator, then register, log in for that, and then send us a friend request. It's a hell of a nice platform. And a good way to support another aviator and other aviators in the industry. Really is good.
Definitely.
There's a Steady Climb fly-in, the Pilot Insure guys. That's at Rhino Park Airfield, the 4th of September, 2021. So they had the first two. They were good. They were very successful. First one, 45 aircraft, and the second one, 62 aircraft. So they've done really well with it. And they're an ambitious bunch of guys, and they've set up this day. So if you want to go and support that, I think it's near Cullinan there. Take a drive through, go look at the aircraft. And from your side, Kaz?
No, awesome. It was a good show.
I think
fun
so.
Today.
I think so. There's a last punt though, eh? I've got a last punt for the day. I'm sorry. The Jacob Zuma Foundation is looking to raise funds for his legal fees. So I've got an idea. What you can do, people can pay us in our Patreon account, and I will hand the money over to Zuma. Yeah,
that is
for his legal fees.
Bryan, you never fail to amaze me at
I'm trying to take out the middleman.
Yeah.
Or put in the middleman, however you want to see it. But
your generosity is just, you never fail to amaze us.
I'm here to help everyone.
Yeah, and Shame, I think Zuma.
I see he's advertising on Twitter there. So,
he needs your help.
They need help with legal fees. I thought, what can we do? We had to help.
We have to play our part.
And, we're all the same.
Yeah.
And so, put the money in our Patreon, and I'll send it across. I'll fax it to him.
Shucks.
Right, so Tuesday we'll be back for the live, and guys, everyone, thanks for the support, and there was a lot of support on last week's show. Love what we do, and things are turning around. They are turning around.
They are.
There's no doubt that they are turning around. We need a few more things sorted out. I'll tell you what, we've got through Cemair, we've got an overseas trip planned where we need to go to France. And, it's just too much of a rigmarole right now for anyone that, is considering, going on a bit of a travel expedition somewhere. A lot of people are going to say, when they look at the requirements, and they're probably going to say, no, let's wait till next year, which is not good. We just need a little bit more help in kickstarting this travel and tourism industry in South Africa.
Yeah,
big time, because it has to, the whole process needs to be streamlined. It needs to be improved, and until it is, people are just going to say, listen, it's actually not worth it right now.
Yeah.
Which, if you would hope by, going into September 2021 that it would have, but it hasn't. So, a bit of a negative one there. And I think let's try and keep a close eye on the tourism side of things and the travel side of things. And maybe we need to dive a bit more into, that sort of sector. I don't know. Maybe people can let us know what they enjoy hearing on the show. A lot more. We have concentrated quite a bit on the airlines and aircraft in the past few weeks, but maybe travel and tourism.
No, definitely. I mean, I can definitely vouch for that sector right now. No, the charter side is, there has been this sort of up and down tendency in the last couple of months, showing some sort of a tendency towards recovery. But it's certainly by no means easy for them right now.
It's a bit like it's like starting a flooded Lycoming at the moment.
Yeah, it's very much
it's
like
spinning, but it hasn't. Yeah.
I mean, I can go into quite a lot of depth about the challenges that they're facing, but maybe we'll talk about that next week, and we can expand on that a bit.
Let's do it.
Cool.
Have a lovely weekend, everyone. Keep the blue side up from our side. Goodbye for now.
Ciao.